The major story of the week is across the border in the eastern townships of Quebec. A railroad that runs from Montreal to Maine and New Brunswick that first put the small town of Lac-Mégantic on the map more than a century ago, this week literally wiped out several blocks of the town's downtown. A runaway freight train with 73 cars full of crude oil bound for a New Brunswick refinery derailed and exploded, incinerating dozens of downtown buildings and killing as many as 50 people.
The street was filled with fire, this man says. It was a river of fire.
20 bodies have been found as of yesterday, but the death toll is expected to climb. Investigators say they now believe the 30 people still missing are almost certainly dead.
There are people who aren't accounted for, and we know there are going to be more deaths.
And fire investigators say it's possible many of the victims' remains may never be found.
But I know there's going to be waves of emotion over the next few weeks as the extent of this, and this is a very big disaster in human terms, as the extent of this becomes increasingly obvious.
The head of the railroad says after a fire in one of the train's locomotives earlier Saturday evening, the next town over, an engineer failed to reset the brakes. The train started rolling and was traveling at a high rate of speed by the time it reached downtown Lac-Mégantic, 7 miles away.
You could see the train, but it was going so fast you couldn't even see between the cars. And then I saw a car lift up.
The explosion leveled as many as 30 buildings. Up to 800 can't return to their homes, which are now cordoned off as a crime scene, as investigators try to determine who was responsible and if they were negligent. The disaster has renewed debate over rail safety and tougher standards for tanker cars that carry the steadily growing amount of oil being transported from the Dakotas and Alberta oil sands to refineries. And it may help bolster proponents of the Keystone XL and other pipelines that it's safer than transporting oil by rail. Talk of building new pipelines or converting existing ones to carry crude, like this one through Quebec and Vermont, have prompted large protests and demonstrations in recent months.
Our water! Our